Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I am here with the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 1, Episode 4. Before anybody asks, I know y'all can see it. The car seat in the back is my niece's. Okay, I bought it for her. I got a really good deal because she needed another one, and I have yet to ship it back to South Carolina. It's just been sitting in the back of my car. I know I'm a terrible auntie. I'm going to get it done. But yeah, happy Sunday. I am at home doing my review, and we're going to try to get this going and get it done so y'all can move on with your Sunday and I can move on with mine. Still no edits. No edits. I am so sorry, everybody. Y'all know my computer issues. I'm not even going to rehash it. I said I was going to learn YouTube editor, but every time I look at it, I just get tired. I just get so tired just looking at the editing system. But maybe. I ain't going to make no promises, but maybe. Still trying to work on everything, though. So the episode opens with the soon-to-be Scotts, Kimmy and Maurice. They're there with their children. Kimmy's son is 20 years old. Maurice's son, Maurice Jr., is 11 years old. Now, I believe her son's name was Jalen, but I'm not 100% sure, only because I typed Jalen in my notes, but the boy looks like my cousin Jalen. So I'm almost wondering, is his name Jalen, or did I type in Jalen because he reminded me of my cousin? I don't want to say it wrong, y'all, but I think the name might have been Jalen. Anyway, he is off at college and now he's home for the summer. Maurice Jr. lives with his mother during the school year, which I think, did they say Michigan is where they lived? And he is with the dad during the summer. And I just want to ask all my parents out there who are doing the co-parenting situation, how difficult is it to do that if your child is in another state? Because that's always been a concern of mine when I'm dating or when I meet somebody who has children. I want them to be close to their children. Like, I want to live in an area that's close to their children. So I think about that when I get involved with them. Would I be willing to not move? You know, if it ever came down to it, would I be willing to just stay there because I really wanted them to be near their child? But that's just stuff that I always think about. Y'all parents out there, let me know how that goes for you all. But the kids are home for the summer, and a lot changes when the kids are home for the summer. For Kimmy, nothing really changes with Maurice because Kimmy is more structured. They have a different parenting style. And Kimmy just handles things when it comes to the children, which I want to talk about that. But let me tell you how the scene went. So Jalen is home and he still got a curfew. And the mama and Kimmy is looking at him like, yeah, you got a curfew. Just because you do what you want when you at school doesn't mean that you're going to do the same thing here. He also says he's going to get in touch with Martell to maybe start doing some work. And she thinks that's a great idea because she's about to start handing off some bills, which I don't believe. But she claims she's about to start handing off some bills. I'm not a fan of curfews once children go to college because their life is just completely different over there. And it's hard to get back into the structure of things once you come home, which is a big reason I stopped coming home. I went to college when I was 17. By the time I got to my sophomore year and I was 18 or 19, I just stayed at school the whole year. I got an apartment my sophomore year and that was all she wrote. I just stayed for the year. But I understand wanting to know where your children are, especially with things that's going on in the world now. You want to know where your kids are. You want to make sure they're safe. So I totally get it. You got to keep some structure in the home. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But y'all parents, just know that if they going out, the clubs and stuff don't close till 2. So don't make them 20-year-olds. They can't be coming home at 12:30, 1 o'clock. But make them tell you where they are. I do agree with that. Let me know where you're going to be. So the younger son is calling his mom on FaceTime. It's time to call your mama, let her know things are good. And she wants to know the plans for the summer. So when Maurice gets on the phone, he's talking about space camp and all the stuff that the baby might do. And Kimmy is looking at him like, rolling her eyes almost. And so when he gets off the phone, she tells him, you are really tripping. You only did that because you were talking to Kiawa, I think I can't pronounce her name, but the ex-wife. You were talking to her. I've asked you about putting Maurice in summer camp and different activities he can do while he's here, and you never get that stuff together. So now you're trying to act like you done got it together now, and I know you haven't because you have to plan for camp. You got to pay registrations, and he was like, oh, really? Like he really didn't know. And so I'm just going to jump straight to their counseling session, which I'm so glad. I am so glad to see them in couples counseling, premarital counseling before they get married. I have so much respect for that. I think that's awesome. Even if they have been dating for 50, 11 years, I think it's great that they went to counseling together. And we learned in counseling that Kimmy is at the point where she's in her 40s, and she thought that she would kind of be living her life differently. But now she's back in that caretaking situation that she was in when she was a single parent, taking care of her son. And it was difficult. She didn't go out. She didn't do stuff. She was strictly there for his benefit. And so she thought that she would be going on trips and doing different stuff at this age. And she's not able to do it because now that her son is about to graduate college pretty soon, she's got Maurice Jr. that's going to be there. He may be there on a more permanent basis. She's doing a lot with him. Maurice is in school, which I forgot about, and it takes away from the time they could be spending together as a couple. And I think as she began to talk, she felt like she was being selfish, and she started pulling back. And the counselor is telling her, those things are not selfish, but you all need to communicate about making a few little changes. And Maurice is shocked because when she starts crying, he was like, I didn't know that this is where you were at with it. I didn't know you were on the edge, is what he told her. And I do need to take some more steps up. You just handle everything so well that I really thought you were good. And this just speaks to love languages, people's love languages that you have to learn about people's personality and communication. It was great that they resolved that in counseling and found that out in counseling, but it was interesting how Maurice just had no idea because Kimmy is used to probably being very strong and wearing her responsibilities well. And it might be difficult for her being a single mother. It may be difficult for her to express that she needs help, because sometimes that can happen to you when you're used to doing things a lot on your own. So Kimmy has to be more vocal about needing the help, and Maurice needs to receive it. All right, now I saw a little bit of your brother peeking out this episode. So that could be just the way y'all grew up. Your mama just held down the kids and the family life, and your daddy brought home the check and worked on himself while your mama worked on y'all. And it just can't work like that. So don't expect Kimmy to be, the controller of the kids, bringing in money. Like, you're asking her to do a lot of things and just handle it. Pay attention to what she needs. Pay attention to her. If you pay attention to a person, even if they are putting on the front, you can tell. You can tell if that's your woman, that is too much on her. Take on some responsibility. At the end of the day, he is your child. She loves him very much, but he is your son. All right, take on some responsibility and take a break. When you get a break from school, y'all do something together, and I think that's something that they're going to work on. But I was so glad to see them in counseling. It can be difficult dating a man with children because sometimes I think they want you to take on this particular role. And I'm not trying to replace anybody's mother, especially if their mama's still alive and active. I'm not trying to replace the mother. I'm trying to be a support to you with your child, a support to you with your child. I'm not trying to step in and take on all the responsibilities. And so I always let anybody I get serious with know that, like, you still are responsible now. Don't try to shift. Don't try to shift. And so I want Maurice to realize that when he does spend time with his son lets him know that he loves Kimmy. He likes Kimmy. He don't like going shopping with her, but I think it's great that he really likes her and is happy they're getting married. That is great. I love to see a blended family come together. It may be time for the son to be with him on a more consistent basis. Maurice is realizing that he's growing into a man. I think it's important for boys to be with their father during that point in time. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about that whole situation. Let me move on to the Child of Comeback group. The Comeback group, they get together and they have another full business meeting because the last one went so well. So when they get together, everybody's conversing and, No, I'm sorry. I don't even know why I said that. See why you need an editor? When they get together, everybody is going over the contract, okay? What they read in the contract, what they might have problems with. And my neighbor's child. One of the things that Melody had an issue with on the contract was there was a point in the contract where it said that nobody could work with any other members of any other group doing the same type of thing that they were doing within the comeback group. You can't work with another group that's doing something similar. Melody would like to add in some type of addendum that states you are allowed to do other business with other groups, but you have to make sure that you clear whatever business you're doing with the rest of the group. Can we add that in? And everybody seems to be in agreement that we're not trying to hold anybody up from their business decisions. So, let's do that. Child, is so much going on. Would y'all just go in the house? My goodness. So they're in agreement that they're going to do whatever that is so distracting. And Martell is upset about that because he doesn't understand why Melody will want to do that, because it puts everybody in their business. Like why does she want these people in our business? And that's understandable. I guess I can understand that part. Then they get to talking about this whole square footage again. Okay, so Martell tells them, look, if y'all could just agree on I want to say he said $99 per square foot. Like, I think the price went up, but initially it was $90 per square foot. If y'all can just agree on the $90, then I'll take care of everything on the business end. Y'all won't have to worry about it anymore. I won't have to come in here talking to y'all about certain things that, terms y'all don't even understand anyway. So now Marcel is offended because, I've been doing building for 20 years. I know terms and conditions and agreements. I can understand the business language. So he's kind of looking at Martell like, what is this about? Well, I know somebody who said that they could do it for $80 per square foot. So let's talk about possibly you going down. And Martell's like, no. I'm not really willing to do that. So what ends up happening is a couple of things. Tisha ends up asking Martell if he's trying to give away a house. Are you trying to give away a house? And Martell is saying, no, we're taking on the responsibility. And yes, I am trying to make a little bit of a profit because we're taking on most of the responsibility in the building. Kimmy's concern is that she doesn't want to look predatory towards the people that they're trying to help. We started the group, the comeback group, to go into North Huntsville and do something good for these people, not really to make a profit. That was Marcel's point. I hope I didn't say Maurice earlier. Marcel's point. And so the group is just everybody's just kind of trying to figure out where Martell is coming from. Like, are you trying to make a profit or off of these people that we're trying to help? Or are you trying to really help? And Martell's like, I know how it goes. I'm from North Huntsville, and I'm not trying to go back to North Huntsville. So now Kimmy is offended because that defeats the purpose of the group. I thought it was called the comeback group so we could eventually make it back into North Huntsville, which I really think it was just so they could bring stuff to North Huntsville, but okay. So Tisha is telling Martell that he's being a little selfish because he wants to only do it his way. And somehow in the conversation, Martell is calling her sweetheart. Like, yeah, I can do that. And I'm going to do it that way, sweetheart, because this, and that. And she tells him, I'm not your sweetheart. He ends up saying it again. And Marcel, he got a little bit of the crazy in his face. It was kind of like, I said, okay, see, what I need Martell to do, now I know he be in the gym and he be running, but, Marcel, he get good home cooked meals every night. You might have the endurance, but I think he might have some weight on you, bro. I don't want to see that fight. Okay, I just don't want to see it. Y'all just stop it right now. So we come to an agreement. Melody says, let's just agree on $80 per square foot. Would that make everybody happy? That'll make everybody happy. Martell, you sure you want to be a part of the comeback group still? Yeah, I still want to be a part of it, but I'm just saying, we taking on the responsibility. Now, I saw the situation a couple of ways. Now, y'all have to excuse me. I'm not in real estate. I don't know much about it. I'm trying to learn. But I saw it like this. Excuse me. I had a little burp. So, I believe that people are a little bit leery of the Holtz because of how the business agreement went down before with the several acres of land and all of that. So, they kind of got a side eye for the Holtz, right? I believe Melody is trying to make the most of the group and show the group that you can trust us. We are going to do the right thing by the group when it comes to this situation. Martell, on the other hand, is the builder, and I can understand that he needs money to pay his employees, so he does have to make some type of profit off of it and not lose any money. it's like I can see why they are not trustful of the Holtz, but I can also see why it makes more sense to let the Holtz build because they're a part of the group, right? They can handle decisions right then and there and not have to get in touch with anybody outside. But when it comes to this level of distrust, it might mean that they just need to go with an outside builder if they don't feel like they can trust the Holtz. Then it leads to the question, if you can't trust them, then why are you in a group with them? You know what I mean? So I saw that part. And then the second part that I saw was I saw a soul food situation going on. Do you guys remember whenever there was something that involved money and the family didn't have it, they would go to Terry? That's what I felt like they were doing with Martell when they were talking to him, the Scott specifically. Because for Tisha to ask, are you trying to give away a house? Are you trying to give a house? I was just like, now, I know that the Holtz make really good money, but are they in a point where they can just give a house away and still pay their workers and, you know, buy the supplies? Like, are they at that point where they can do that? Or are they at a point maybe where they can break even doing it? I have so many questions, but that just goes back to, I don't know how the money works. I don't know how much they pay their people who build for them. I don't know what all is involved in the building these homes. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of different things I don't know. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know if it's okay to ask them not to make a profit at all. At all. So y'all let me know how y'all saw that situation. Like, I saw a couple of things in there. So once they reach an agreement, I guess the meeting is over. Let me look at my notes and see where I want to go next. That's the elevator music. All right, so the guys go golfing, okay? The guys go golfing. Tell me why Martell then walks in with Melody for the guys golfing. And everybody is looking at him like, you breaking the bro code. Like, this is for the boys. Now, before Melody and Martell got there, Marceau is letting Maurice know that he is planning something big for the 10th anniversary for the two of them. They said they weren't going to do nothing, so he's going to do something for the Holtz. Actually, he's not going to do too much of anything. He put his assistant on it. Who is his assistant? Tisha. And he called her his assistant. I didn't say that. I put my assistant on planning something for the Holtz. So when they get there, Maurice and Marceau are kind of looking like, okay, boys' day is over. And they doing some golfing, and Martell and Melody are getting along really well. Martell said, hey, Melody wanted me to bring her more places, so I brought her to guys' day. Like, that was a good idea. And Melody is talking about how she enjoys spending time with the guys, and it's very little drama. Well, the drama was at the meeting. So they get into the whole sweetheart talk. And Martell was never trying to be condescending, so he says, I wasn't trying to be condescending. I was actually surprised that Tisha turned up on me like that. And Marceau is trying to explain to him that when you're in a meeting, see, Marceau's an interesting character. He understands misogyny in certain situations, except for when he's doing it almost. So he was just like, when you call a woman sweetheart, especially in a business setting, it's like telling her, you don't know the ins and outs, darling, so let me explain to you the ins and outs. And Martell said, well, if that's the case, I might as well call all y'all sweetheart, because don't none of y'all I was laughing, y'all. I'm sorry. I could call all y'all sweetheart because don't none of y'all know the ins and outs. But he didn't really think it was that big of a deal until Melody explained to him, like, I wouldn't want to be called sweetheart in a meeting. I call you sweetheart all the time. Not in a meeting. Don't call me sweetheart in no business meeting because that's not the time. So they buried that. And I think we all know, y'all, little pet names are not good for the workplace. Darling, meeting, sweetheart, you know, it can be condescending. So we ain't got to rehash that. But when he said he could call all of them sweetheart, I got my laugh on for a good couple seconds. All right, so let's move it on. Let's move it on. That's the music. All right, so Kimmy is going to get married in 2 weeks. I had no idea the wedding was coming up that soon, but they're going to be getting married. I want the girls to come with me to pick out some lingerie. So they go to the sex store, and of course Tisha's there and saying, you know, what Marceau like, what Marceau don't like. She don't really buy sex toys. She don't care for them, and this, that, and the fifth. That don't surprise me. Melody shows up, and Melody is kind of just like, I don't have any sex toys. Martell is my sex toy. Let me just say to you ladies out there, there's nothing wrong with having sex toys. There's nothing wrong with having sex toys. Whether it's for you by yourself or whether it's with you and your man, there's nothing wrong. It can enhance the experience if you want it. If you don't want it, that's fine. But what I don't like is when women get together and act like, oh, she need a sex toy, honey. I don't need a sex toy. I don't need. I'm telling you, some of my friends are who have sex toys. I feel like they probably have a much healthier sex life because they're not like, they don't have like those kind of limitations that we can put on ourselves sometimes as women. Me personally, I don't have one just because I don't want to become addicted to anything. That's my sharing moment with y'all, but that's the only reason, really. I just don't want to get addicted to nothing. So, anyway, have y'all ever seen that episode of Sex in the City where Charlotte got addicted to a rabbit and they had to come in there and get her out of the house? See, I don't want that to be me. But Kimmy is just like, oh, shoot, maybe I brought the wrong group. I need some people who gonna get freaky with me. But she goes to try on some lingerie. There's a little red number that Mel thinks will look good on her. And she looking at Mel like, this is good. This for the little people. That will look good on you, honey. I need some situation. I don't need that. Because it was like, y'all, it was like a piece of floss. But Kimmy goes in and, y'all, Kimmy's body is together. I know some girls. I told you I got a lot of female friends. I know some young girls whose body ain't even close. Kimmy looks good. She ain't even got no cellulite. Like, who the hell? Who? Who ain't got it? Raise your hand out there if you ain't got cellulite. Raise it. Put it down, because I'm mad. You lucky girl, you. But okay. Kimmy looks great. I mean, and then she tried on another one, and I was actually watching it with my guy, and he was like, I like that one. I said, excuse me? No, but she actually looked really, really good, especially in that second one. That was my favorite, so I hope you got that one. Melody ends up paying for her lingerie, and Melody says, her body is together for her to be almost 50. I hope I age as well. It was a little twinge of shade, but it was true shade. Like, she is getting older. I don't think she's in her late 40s. I actually think she's in her early 40s, but either way, that body is right. And for her to be able to show it on TV and do all of that, you better go. You look really good. Melody buys it as a gift, and as a gift, her and Tisha and Kimmy buy Melody the little red number. Okay, so that's going to be for her anniversary. And then Tisha buys these balls that you can put into the vajayjay, and then the husband can control it. Kind of like Benoit balls, or I don't know what they're called now. They got a different name now, not Benoit balls. But, you put them in there, move them around or whatever. And so when she goes home, she's trying to show Marcel what she bought. And Marcel is just like, now, what is that, an iPhone? Y'all, I don't like Marcel, but he is funny to me. Like, it's really hard to not like him because he gives you a laugh every now and then. But she tells him, no, I bought this for us. And he said, listen, why don't you keep that red lingerie? He think it's weird that women buying each other lingerie anyway, but girls do stuff like that. But why don't you keep that little red number and you give them that other stuff? And she was like, no, I want to keep the balls too. I ain't mad though. And he was just like, why you don't wear stuff like that? And she said, oh, I didn't think you liked it. Like, the Scotts are they're just so interesting. You know what I mean? Y'all been married for 13 years. And you had no clue your husband liked lingerie? Like, none. And Marcel, you like lingerie but never bothered to ask your wife to put none on? Like, something is it's not clicking. But it amazes me that the Scotts are able to step out and look into other people's relationships and have comments. Like Marcel always talking about how long Kimmy and Maurice been together. But it seems they might know a little bit more about each other than you and your wife. So what does that really say? Anybody else confused? Okay. So, moving on. All right. We got to get to this dinner. I'm going to skip the rest of that. We going to get to this dinner, okay? Kimmy has planned this dinner at 360, I think was the name of the place. It's a rooftop restaurant, very nice. All right, they're going to pick up the Holtz told him to dress to the nines, and Melody is confused about what's about to happen because usually her and Martell are always the ones planning something. So she doesn't know what's going to go on, but she looks very beautiful. And Martell asks her, can you believe we've been married for 10 years? And she said, yeah, I can. She said it like she felt every single year. And I know Bondi was saying one time on her video, Bondi Blue, she was saying that she has been with her husband. They dated for like, I think maybe they've been together like 8 years total, right? And she was just saying that it don't even feel like 8 years. Like when you start feeling the years like that, that means that you almost getting tired of that person. It should still feel like it's flying by at that point. So she asked him where he was last night. He was at the gym a little bit longer than usual. And he's just like, what are you talking about? Like, you tripping. All right. There's a lot of mistrust with the two of them. So whenever they get into the limo, everybody's excited. Everybody looks great. And, it's going to be a good time. Well, they've actually already been to this restaurant that the Scotts have planned for them to go to, but Melody just goes ahead and plays it off because she don't want to ruin the surprise, which I thought was hilarious because she was like, child, Martell and I went to this restaurant 4 years ago. But they get gifts, and it's the lingerie, and she's shocked about the lingerie, and then it's the little balls that they give to Martell, although Marceau felt like a keychain would have been way more appropriate. But yeah, y'all. I mean, it was cute. Friends getting together. I thought it was very, very cute. I thought the night was going to go well until y'all, they get into the restaurant and it starts out with the Scotts. Melody is asking very innocently. I don't believe that Melody was trying to get nothing started initially, but she asked Tisha about contacting some of the people she met at the brunch. And Tisha is talking about how she got to deep clean her house before the lady come over there. And Melody is just like, what? I mean, like, you going to miss your opportunity, girl, trying to deep clean your house. You're not going to be able to talk to the lady. Why don't you just meet her outside the house? That way you don't have to worry about it. It's all just confusing. So that's when they get into talking about more the business relationship. It was actually Martell who got it started. If you start working more and you start getting yourself more into business and you're going to be starting to do like a full-time thing. And Marcel was just like, no, she's not doing no full-time thing. That's not what she's doing. And Tisha is trying to explain to him that she wants to be more involved even in their business. So now he's trying to get her to like hold his hand so they can be on the same page. But I really think he wanted to hold her hand so he could squeeze it kind of tight and be like, we're not going to talk about this right now. Not in an abusive way, but in a I'm giving you a signal way that we're going to shut this whole thing down. But Tisha is just like, no, I'm not holding your hand. You're not sweet talking me into anything today. This is really what I want to do. I'm taking baby steps, but I want to get out there. And so then it comes up that she never wanted to be a housewife. She wanted to focus more on her career. It was never the plan for her to be a stay-at-home mom, but once her kids started getting older, she thought maybe I do need to be at home with them more often. That started to take priority. That started to be more important. And it just got to be a lot. She was starting to feel like a single mom. And Kimmy jumps in and tells her, no, baby, now I'm going to just tell you, as a real single mom, the check do help. Which I understood Kimmy's point. But my thing is this. When somebody is speaking about their experience, that's their experience. Let them talk about it. Let them have it. She's saying she felt like one. She knows she is not a single parent. So then, I guess to take the heat off of herself, Tisha jumps to, well, Melody, Martell, we're here to celebrate you guys. You guys have been through a lot. Y'all have overcome a lot of trials and tribulations. You've overcome infidelity. And then it's just like, boom. Everybody kind of looking like, oh, shoot. I don't understand why Tisha had to bring that up. I really think she wanted to take the heat off of her and her husband. But I'm starting to sense a level of jealousy with the Scotts. And I don't know any other way to call it. Like, y'all have things going on in your relationship that y'all need to solve, that y'all need to handle. You don't really need to be worried about anybody else's infidelity, because at the end of the day, Tisha, if Melody decides to leave Martell and they divide their business, she will still have money to live on. What is your game plan if you have to leave Marcel? Because something tells me you ain't got no money even in the stash. But you might. Let me not play you like that. You might. So, yeah, you guys, I don't know. Like, something about those two specifically, actually, it's both of them. They just seem to enjoy the Holt's marital problems. Like, even when everybody got into the car and Marsau was just like, well, for the past 10 years, somebody been playing around a little bit more than the other. Inappropriate. Inappropriate. But anyway, they start having a conversation, and again, time and place. I didn't think Tisha needed to be bringing that up. But, Melody is just like, well, as a woman, when you are with a man and you take some things away from that man, and he realizes that he's not always going to have you, it's not always going to be his way, he starts to respect you a little bit more. And Martell is kind of getting, y'all know he don't like his business out. So he is getting very aggravated with the fact that Melody is even saying all of this, and he really just wants her to be quiet. And the episode ends there for the most part. And next week we're gonna see some other stuff go down. I don't want these two to break up. I want them to be able to work through their marriage, but I do want Martell to stop cheating. I heard him say that whole Bible thing. Child, we're gonna talk about that next week. I ain't even gonna get into it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and y'all let me know what y'all see with the Scotts, because something ain't right. Okay, something ain't right. The soon to be Scotts too. I don't think they jealous, but I think they like to throw a little shade. All right, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.